Good morning, students. Hope you all are well. Nice to meet you again through this virtual class. Students, in English, in the last online class, we have learned 8 golden rules by George Orwell in the prose A Nice Cup of Tea. Totally, how many golden rules are there? 11 golden rules. What is the title of the prose? A Nice Cup of Tea. Who is the author? George Orwell. What is the meaning of the word optimistic? Optimistic means positive. What is the fifth rule? Can you remember what is the fifth rule? Tea should be put straight into the pot without using strainers or muslin bags. Yes, very good, students. Let us continue the prose. Listen carefully. Let me read the next paragraph. Ninthly, one should pour the cream off the milk before using it for tea. Milk that is too creamy always gives tea a sickly taste. In this paragraph, George Orwell suggests not to add any cream of the milk into the tea because it gives a sickly taste. So, before we add milk into tea, we should remove cream from the milk. Next paragraph. Tenthly, one should pour tea into the cup first. This is one of the most controversial points of all. Indeed, in every family in Britain, there are probably two schools of thought on the subject. The milk first school can bring forward some fairly strong arguments, but I maintain that my own argument is unanswerable. This is that by putting the tea in first and stirring as one pours, one can exactly regulate the amount of milk, whereas one is liable to put in too much milk if one does it the other way round. Here, controversial means arguable. Controversial means arguable. Liable means responsible. Liable means responsible. In this paragraph, Orwell recommends to pour tea into the cup first and then milk. If we do like this, one can regulate the amount of adding milk. Students, what is the 10th rule according to George Orwell? One should pour tea into the cup first is the 10th rule. What is the 10th rule? One should pour tea into the cup first is the 10th rule. Next question. Why does the author say to put the tea first? By putting the tea first, one can regulate the amount of milk. Why does the author say to put the tea first? By putting the tea first, one can regulate the amount of milk. Next question. Why does the author advise removing cream from milk? Creamy milk will give a sickly taste to the tea, so the author advises to remove cream from the milk. Creamy milk will give a sickly taste to the tea, so the author advises to remove cream from the milk. Next question. What should be poured into the cup first? According to the author, tea should be poured into the cup first. According to the author, tea should be poured into the cup first. Next paragraph. Lastly, tea, unless one is drinking it in the Russian style, should be drunk without sugar. I know very well that I am in a minority here. But still, how can you call yourself a true tea lover if you destroy the flavor of your tea by putting sugar in it? It would be equally reasonable to put in pepper or salt. If you sweeten it, you are no longer tasting the tea, you are merely tasting the sugar. You could make a very similar drink by dissolving sugar in plain hot water. As the last rule, he says tea should be drunk without sugar. It would be equally reasonable to put in pepper or salt. According to the author, adding sugar destroys the taste of tea. Students, according to the author, what is the Russian style of drinking tea? According to the author, what is the Russian style of drinking tea? One should drink tea without sugar is the Russian style of drinking tea. One should drink tea without sugar is the Russian style of drinking tea. According to Orwell, if we add sugar in the tea, what do we taste? According to Orwell, if we add sugar in the tea, what do we taste? We taste only sugar, not the tea. We taste only sugar, not the tea. The question for this paragraph is, does the author like drinking tea with sugar? Give reasons. Answer, no, the author does not like drinking tea with sugar. Sugar will destroy the flavor of tea. If we add sugar, we taste only the sugar, not the tea. Next question. Why does the author refer to himself being in a minority? Answer. Drinking tea without sugar may not be liked by many. In this case, he is a minority. So, he refers to himself being in a minority. Next paragraph. Some people would answer that they don't like tea in itself, that they only drink it in order to be warmed and stimulated, and they need sugar to take the taste away. To those misguided people, I would say, try drinking tea without sugar for, say, a fortnight, and it is very unlikely that you will ever want to ruin your tea by sweetening it again. Students, in this paragraph, we have come across a word called fortnight. Fortnight is a blunted word. What do you know about blunted word? Blunted word is a word that is formed by combining two or more words by dropping some letters and producing a new meaning. Here, fortnight is a word combined from the two words 14 plus night. Combined from the two words 14 plus night. Some other examples are breakfast plus lunch, brunch, camera plus recorder, camcorder, high plus technology, high-tech, medical plus care, medicare, smoke plus fog, smog. These are some of the examples of blended words. Orwell advises the people to drink tea without sugar for a fortnight. Fortnight means, already we have studied, period of 2 weeks. Then they will also like tea without sugar. So he advises the people to drink tea without sugar. If they drink tea without sugar for a fortnight, then they will also like tea without sugar. Let me read the last paragraph of the prose. These are not the only controversial points to raise in connection with tea drinking, but they are sufficient to show how subtilized the whole business has become. There is also the mysterious social etiquette surrounding the teapot, and much might be written about the subsidiary uses of tea leaves, such as telling fortunes, predicting the arrival of visitors, feeding rabbits, healing burns, and sweeping the carpet. It is worth paying attention to such details as warming the pot and using water that is really boiling, so as to make quite sure of wringing out of one's ration the 20 good, strong cups of that 2 ounces properly handled ought to represent. Here, mysterious means incomprehensible. Mysterious means incomprehensible. And the word etiquette means socially acceptable behavior. Etiquette means socially acceptable behavior. Orwell adds some controversial points in relation with drinking tea. Controversial means, already we have studied, arguable. So he adds some arguable points in relation with drinking tea. People used to drink tea only in teacups. They talk about tea leaves, arrival of visitors, feeding rabbits, healing burns, and sweeping the carpet. Finally, he says that we have to pay good attention in preparing tea. One can make sure that he is preparing a nice cup of tea. Now let me summarize all the synonyms of this prose. Curious, interesting, controversial, arguable, virtues, admirable qualities, despised, hated, stimulation, excitement, optimistic, positive, dangling, hanging freely, liable, responsible, mysterious, incomprehensible, etiquette, socially acceptable behavior. Antonyms: despised, liked, optimistic, pessimistic, shallow, deep, arrival, departure, sufficient, inadequate. Now, assignment questions. Based on your understanding of the text, answer each of the following questions in 4 or 5 sentences. Let me read the questions. The first question is, what are the author's views on China tea? What are the author's views on China tea? The author says that one should select Indian or Ceylonese tea. China tea may be economical, but there is not much stimulation in it. One does not feel wiser, braver, or more optimistic after drinking it. Now the second question is, how does adding sugar affect the taste of tea? How does adding sugar affect the taste of tea? According to the author, tea without sugar gives the real taste. Sugar destroys the taste of tea. It is as good as adding pepper or salt. If we add sugar, we taste only the sugar and not the tea. And the third question is, elucidate the author's ideas about teapots. Elucidate the author's ideas about teapots. Tea should be prepared in teapot only. The teapot should be made of china or earthenware. Silver or Britannia ware teapots produce inferior tea, and enamel pots are worse, though curiously enough a pewter teapot is not so bad. Now answer in a paragraph. The question is, summarize George Orwell's distinctive ideas in a nice cup of tea. Summarize George Orwell's distinctive ideas in a nice cup of tea. Students, prepare a very good paragraph for this question in about 100 to 150 words. Students, now let me summarize the prose. A Nice Cup of Tea is an essay by George Orwell. It is a description of the craft of making tea. George Orwell highlights the distinctive features of preparing a nice cup of tea. The central meaning within this essay relates to the methods of creating a perfect cup of tea. According to him, there are 11 points to follow to prepare a nice cup of tea. First of all, one should select Indian or Ceylonese tea. Secondly, tea should be made in teapot in small quantities. The teapot should be made of china or earthenware. Thirdly, the pot should be warmed beforehand, keeping it on the hob. Fourthly, the tea should be fairly strong. The author also mentions that he prefers 1 strong cup of tea rather than 20 weak ones. Fifthly, the tea should be put straight into the pot without using strainers or muslin bags. Sixthly, the teapot should be taken to the kettle and not the other way about. Seventhly, after making the tea, one should stir it or give the pot a good shake. Afterwards, tea leaves can be allowed to settle. Eighthly, one should use a breakfast cup to drink tea. The cylindrical type of cup will keep the heat longer. Ninthly, cream should be removed from the milk before using it for tea. Tenthly, one should pour the tea into the cup first and milk second. If the milk is added second, one could regulate the amount of milk. Lastly, tea should be drunk without sugar. Students of class 12, I request you to maintain neat English notebook. In this unit 2, prose a nice cup of tea, you have to write synonyms, question answers, antonyms, another 3 assignment questions and its answers, and lastly, paragraph question and its answer. Once the school reopens, we will check your notebooks and you will be rewarded with internal marks. Listen the online classes, take notes and study well. Believe in yourself and all that you are. Know that there is something inside you that is greater than any obstacle. So, dear students, whatever obstacle you are facing, don't give up your studies. Let us hope the situation will soon be gone and God will surely give us relief from this virus. Thank you.